right, hello and welcome to our YFP 101. Just going to get the live stream rolling and we'll share screen and get jumping on. So we're going to be talking about Zoom recordings today. I want to, before we get going, just thank you for joining today. So it's one that'll be a little bit shorter than the rest, which is kind of nice. But it's nice and simple. And this just helps you with recording settings, where to find your recordings and all that other good stuff. So let me get my slideshow up and running. Okay. So as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about Zoom recordings. And what we're going to cover is you can set up an auto recording or you can do manual recording. I'll talk about the difference. Finding your recordings and your recording links so that you can send those recordings to other people. And I'm sure we'll cover a couple extra things in between. We're also going to go through setting up your recording settings because there's a few in there that you definitely want to make sure are edited so it makes your life a little easier. But a little bit about us if you're brand new to YFP. So your Freedom Project, or YFP, is a 360-degree ecosystem of tools and training that can help you find new builders, find new customers, and increase sales and retention. And YFP addresses the three specific areas that builders struggle with in Shaklee, which is not knowing where to go to find people to talk to, not knowing what to do with the people they find, and not having a formula or plan to stay on track and measure success. And YFP supports your growth in three main ways with tools, training, and support. So we're going to do this again, just going straight up live, and we're going to go into my Zoom back end. And I'll show you how to set up a few very simple meeting settings, okay? So I'm already logged in. So to get here, you're going to have to go to zoom.us and log in with your credentials. And usually it'll land you right here where you can see what meetings you have coming up. Okay. And the first thing we want to do, last week we talked over just some basic in-meeting settings. And today we're going to talk about some recording settings. So let me get my annotation up here. So to get down to your recording settings, it's the same thing. You come down to your settings on the left-hand side. Okay. And I got to move this out of my way here, move that down here and this over here. Let me adjust these. Where you're going to be brought to this page here. The first thing you're going to land on is actually your meeting settings, but we're going to go over to recording settings. Okay. So a couple of things that you want to make sure, a lot of these will be enabled already. You don't have to worry too much about them. For example, local recording should be enabled. Your cloud recording, I do it record active speaker with screen sharing. You can also do it where you record gallery view with screen sharing, but keep in mind that if you have multiple people on and their cameras on and you want to send this recording, it's going to show everybody who's there. So I just do it where it's the active speaker and the screen share, so you don't have to worry about everyone else showing up on that recording. And then the rest of these, you don't have to touch too much. The only other thing that you'll want to make sure is set under your recordings is allow cloud recording sharing. So you get an accessible or a shareable link, which I believe that's already turned on. And then here is where you can decide, do you want to have it automatically record every time you open a meeting, or would you rather do it manually? So the handy thing about automatic recording is if you do cover something that is really important, you don't have to hit record and then repeat that. So if you're doing training, that type of thing, you're automatically recorded, it's all there, nice and handy. The challenge with automatic recording is you don't always want everything recorded. Now you can turn it off. So if you have automatic recording on and you're like, nope, I don't want to record this, you can always just stop the recording while you're in the meeting, which works just fine. And then you're guaranteed to have everything you need recorded. Or you can just have it where you manually record something when you need it. So this is entirely personal preference. I prefer to have it off. And there's no right or wrong. It's just you decide what works best for you. And then the other thing that I want to make sure is turned off is require a passcode to access shared cloud recordings. I turn this off. This will automatically be turned on. I turn it off. It's one step. It just helps to minimize one step you need to do when you're sharing recordings. So you don't have to go in and turn a passcode off and then share it. You can just share it. You don't have to worry about a passcode and then having to try and find the passcode, which is always lots of fun. Okay, so this is one that I turn it off so that any recording I have, I can just grab the link and share it. I don't have to worry about turning off the passcode or sharing a passcode with somebody. And other than that, that's the only thing that I tinker with on the recordings. And these are just to make my life easier, to make it easier for the people who want the recordings and all that good stuff. Okay. And if you want to, you can go through and adjust however you like, but those ones for me are the absolute have to edits. So now let's talk about accessing your Zoom recordings. So to get into your recordings, again, from here, down here on the left-hand side, you're going to go to the recordings tab, which is just above your settings tab. And it'll look something like this. Okay, so you've got all the recordings. I still have one that's processing from this morning. And the nice thing is because I've already turned off the passcode, if I want to share this recording, I can click on share and you can grab the link. So just copy sharing information, and then I can paste that to whomever I like. So it'll show me that I've copied it. You can also show the sharing information and just highlight the link and do a copy. It's up to you on how you want to do it. Okay, and then hit done. Now, if you did want password protection on, it's as simple as turning it on, and then you can create a passcode if there's something that's a little bit more sensitive you want to make sure no one gets into. But like I said last week, with the size of meetings we do, and I'm sure you guys don't leave your Zoom links just laying about, you don't have to worry as much as, say, a bigger corporation who's using Zoom for businessy stuff. Ours is very small scale, and you can usually nip any, what would I call them, unfortunate incidents really quickly. So you don't have to fret too much about high level security because we don't do things at a very high, like super public or anything like that. Now, one thing you might want to do is change the name of your recordings, right? So that it doesn't always say like PJ Myers personal meeting room. So you can actually have a topic. So like for the one that's coming up here, it's not quite done processing, but we'll just pretend this is the one that I did this morning. So to edit the name on your recording, you simply click on the title of that particular recording. It's going to open it up, and then you get this little edit icon. You can edit this. So I could call this the Fab 5 meeting because that's who I was working with, and then save it. So now you know that's them. It'll keep your date and time, so you don't necessarily have to put a date and time. The other thing to keep in mind too is you can also edit. So let's say you start a recording and then you stop it partway through the meeting and then you start it again. You're going to get recording 1, recording 2, recording 3 for however many times you stopped and started. So let's say you're doing things in sections, which is great. Then you can edit each recording. So for example, I could do this one and say on this section of the recording, we were talking about the DAC. And that's all we talked about in that particular recording. Then we took a break and I paused it. And then the next one I could say, okay, this is where we talked about Instagram Reels. And I could send each individual piece of that meeting to everybody. This doesn't work if you keep the recording going for the entire meeting. This only works if you record for a couple minutes, you stop the recording, you start a new recording on that same meeting, and then stop it. You'll get multiple recordings. And I wish I had an example, but I don't know if I do. Okay. You can also grab, by the way, your shareable link from here when you've clicked on it. And this also gives you the opportunity to download that recording. So let's say you're doing your meeting, right? Or your live event that you're doing on your business page. If you're doing a live event on your business page through Zoom, I highly recommend you record it and live stream it, just like we do here, because then when you want to upload it, say to YouTube, you don't have to download it through Facebook. And when you download through Facebook, it lowers the quality of the video. So if you can have it recorded as well, you're going to get a much higher quality video when you download it from Zoom as opposed to downloading it from Facebook. Okay, so just whatever you're doing, if you're doing something that you want to go on YouTube at some point in time or embed into your blog, always, always, always record it. So then you get a nicer quality video. And it's as simple as just clicking on download. It's going to download every file individually. So you will also get just an audio file, which is great if you also have a podcast, because then you can extract just the audio and upload it into a podcast and you don't have to re-record. It'll download any chat that goes on, and it'll also download any transcripts if you have the transcript enabled for that particular meeting. Okay, so everything will be there. You'll get it as one file, and then you'll get each individual section as well. And this also is where you can delete it. So if you don't like this one, you want to get rid of this one, you can just delete it and it's gone. Okay. And that's about it for the recordings. So nice and simple, nice and short. Those are the only things that I would think about when it comes to recording. So since this one is super, super short, I am happy to take any questions, or if there's anything that I can clarify on recordings, you're welcome to unmute and ask. Go ahead, PJ.
You said for live events on Zoom to do them two ways. You said a live recording and something else.
So live stream it and record it.
Okay, live stream and record.
Yeah. So if you're going to do any live streaming through your Zoom and the intention is for business, just always record it. And then you can, if you want to ever extract that video, you're getting a higher quality video when you can download it through Zoom as opposed to trying to download it off of Facebook.
Now I'm going to ask a stupid question.
Nope, no stupid questions.
Yes, there are. I ask them all. Describe to me exactly what live streaming means, like on Zoom.
So live streaming, so right now, this event, I'm also live streaming into our Facebook group. So people on Facebook can watch it without having to join the
real
Zoom.
time. Live streaming is real time.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
So how do you record it on Zoom and live stream it at the same time?
Okay, good question. So you won't be able to see these controls, and this I might have to do, I'll have to show a little bit differently, and maybe we'll do that next week. But how I do it is I start my recording. So first I get my live stream set up through the more button. There's a more button. It says you want to live stream onto Facebook. Click that, get all of my description set up. And then just before I hit go live, I hit the record button, and then I go back and hit live when you're doing both at once.
Okay,
So it's a bit of a process, but I'll have to record it differently in order to
you get the live. You get the live. That went kind of quick. You get the live stream set up on Facebook first.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the more button. You set up the live stream on Facebook, and then you come back and you hit the record button.
Yep.
And then you go back to the live stream and do what?
And then you hit go live.
Okay, thank you.
and
then when it's done, okay, get us out of this now.
Yep. When it's done, you just hit the end button, or you can X out and it'll say, do you want to end the meeting? You hit end meeting and you're done.
Okay, that ends the meeting in Zoom.
That ends the meeting in Zoom, so it'll also end the live stream.
Oh, it automatically ends the live stream.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
So that's how I do it, because then it's easier.
And so the recording ends then, is that right?
Yep, the recording and the live stream would end as soon as you hit end meeting. Yeah, you got it. So that's how I end our meetings when I'm doing things like this. I just hit the end button and then I say end meeting for all, and it's done. The live stream stops and the recording stops, and of course the meeting stops.
This is maybe a stupid question too,
yep.
But I'm always confused when it says cloud recordings. I always think they're going somewhere I don't know where they are.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great question. So when you're recording to the cloud, that means you're recording to Zoom's cloud. So it's going to end up when you log into zoom.us and you go to recordings, that's where it's recording. So it's not taking up space on your computer, it's taking up space in your cloud, which if you're on the enterprise plan, it doesn't matter, you have unlimited cloud recording. If you do want something to just be recorded right to your computer, then you do record locally, and it's going to end up in its own special file, usually under documents. And you'll see that I have a Zoom file. It'll automatically create it. You don't have to create it. And then you'll have all of your local recordings here, but they will not record on the cloud. So it just depends on how you want it. Either way is fine. I recommend just record it to the cloud and then download it if you need it. And it'll download it the way it would have recorded it anyways.
So wherever you put, whichever, either place, if you put it in either place, then
Yep.
when you, if you wanted to do, record it to YouTube,
Mhm.
you could do it from either.
Yeah,
either one.
you can download it from, you can either record it to your computer, which then you don't have to download it to upload it to YouTube. But either way works fine. You would just, if you recorded it to the cloud and you wanted to put it into YouTube, then you would have to do the download and then you would upload it.
Okay.
Just moved that. Okay, so it just depends on what steps you want to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, PJ.
I just signed up for a Zoom account with Cody today, just a little bit ago, with the YFP.
Yep.
And so that's the one thing, Brenda, that makes me a little nervous too, is recording to the cloud, because I have always saved the Zoom on my documents on my computer in the Zoom file.
Mm-hmm.
But that can get kind of cumbersome over time.
Yeah.
And then I put them on Google Drive to upload them different places. Okay. Now, it's supposed to be simpler with YFP, I think. With YFP, show me on your computer how you put the Zoom on YFP's cloud.
So it's not YFP's cloud, it's going into Zoom's cloud.
It's going to Zoom's cloud.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's nothing you have to do to put it there other than when you hit the record button, it'll ask you, do you want to record to the cloud or do you want to record locally? You'll select record to the cloud. It goes to your cloud storage with Zoom.
Okay, now how do we access that?
Okay.
After we get it in the cloud, how do we get to the cloud to get it and to do something with it?
Okay, so that's where, when you log into zoom.us, you come down to this recordings tab. And then here's all of your recordings. This is your cloud essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then to take the one that you want, so let's say you want to download this one, you can do it a couple ways. You can either go over to the 3 dots and just download it if you want it, or if it's just something that you want to share, say with the people that you're on the call with, then you click on the share link or the share button, copy sharing information, and here I'll just show you that process. Go over to where you're going to share it. So we go to the Fab 5 and say, here's the recording. Paste it, done.
Okay, so all that's the same as sharing it from a document on your computer.
Yep.
It's just that it's stored differently and you don't see that.
Yeah, it's stored differently. It's not taking up any space on your computer, which is great. So you don't have to worry about your computer slowing down. And then it's easier to share because you don't have to upload a video. You can just share a link.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did that help clear that up for the most part? Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, so that's basically it for recording. Like recording is very simple. It's just a matter of knowing where to find it. So again, it's coming into that recordings tab when you log into Zoom and grabbing the recording you want and sharing it. Or you can download it if you only have to download it if you want to upload it into another platform. So if you don't want to upload it anywhere, you don't have to worry about downloading it. Go ahead, PJ.
You can't pause a recording, can you? You can only stop it, right?
You can pause a recording.
Okay, you can?
So, yeah, so if you're recording, like right now, I'm recording, and I've got the option to pause the recording, or I can just stop the recording.
Okay.
So if you're pausing the recording, then it just pauses it. It doesn't create 2 recording pieces in that recording. It'll just stay as one recording. But if you stop the recording, then you've stopped that one, and say you want to start again, you start again. That's going to give you 2 recordings in that one recording session.
So like if you wanted to show something kind of time lapse, then you can zoom just a little bit, pause, zoom a little bit, pause. Okay, if you're doing something that's time, like you're kind of crunching the time, time lapse.
Mhm.
Is there a certain amount of time it can be on pause before it just
Nope.
zones out?
You could
Okay.
have it on pause for an hour if you wanted to.
Okay, thank you.
Good questions. Great questions. Things I wouldn't have thought of. So this is excellent. Okay. So that's basically it for recordings. That's the simple side of recordings. It's just a matter of knowing where to find them. Where do you record them to? So again, if your intention is to upload it somewhere, like upload it into another platform, it doesn't matter how you record it, but you will at some point want to download it to your computer. So whether you record it locally or you decide to download it from the cloud, either way works fine. And then that's basically it. And I would just recommend turning off the passcode in the recording settings, which we covered at the beginning. So if you need to go back and watch that, this is recorded. You can go back and watch it as soon as it's done buffering on Facebook, which takes about 5 minutes. And then you can go through that piece again. Okay, so with that, we'll just end it off and we're done early today, which is kind of nice. Everyone gets a little break, go have an early lunch. We like early lunches. Oops, I want to play from here. Okay, so again, if you're brand new to YFP and you're wondering how you can get started using the tools, there's a couple ways you can do that. And the first one, of course, is if you already know you want to use this, you can go ahead and subscribe. You can choose a plan that fits your marketing needs, select whatever add-ons you need. And then again, make sure you book that onboarding appointment. This is a critical step because this gets you in touch with one of the elves so that we can make sure that any third-party integrations are working, any technical things are all ironed out for you so you don't have to worry about tinkering with it. So to select your plan, you can go to yourfreedomproject.com/pricing, and then I'll show you in just a second on how you book that onboarding appointment. The second way to give the tools a go is to take a free test drive. So you can sign up for a fully functional 30-day trial, start trying out the system, and then of course, book that onboarding appointment as well. Because again, we just make sure that all those third-party things are done and that you don't have to worry about any technical glitches. So to get to the trial, you go to yourfreedomproject.com/trial. And in this next step, I'll show you how to book that support appointment. And the third way to either learn about the tools or try them out is to contact us. So you can visit our help center and request a guided tour. And of course, join our YFP Facebook group for business builders. And you can do all of that by going to yourfreedomproject.com/support, which is also where you book the onboarding appointment. So when you're in the help center or our support center, whichever you would like to call it, there's a couple ways you can get in touch with us. First, you can give us a call if you need to. There's our number. This is also where you can join the Facebook group and get any of our updates, also mingle with any other Shackley distributors. Please do not invite prospects to this group. It's not intended for prospects. This is only intended for distributors. Any distributor can join. They don't have to be subscribed to YFP in order to join, but you do have to be a Shackley distributor. Okay, so no members, no prospects, that type of thing, because we talk about things in there that's going to go right over their head and possibly confuse them. Okay, the other thing too is you can submit a ticket. So if you're having any technical issues, they happen, technology's fun that way. This is where you submit the ticket to do that, describe what issue you're struggling with, and then of course submit it. This way everything gets tracked. It goes directly to our support team. And then we can see, is this something that's a localized issue or is this a site-wide issue? And it's just easier for us to handle. So if you're having any technical issues, please submit a ticket. Don't put it in the Facebook group or in the business chat because we can't track it. There's no guarantee that any of the support team are going to see it. And if you're unsure whether or not you should put a support ticket in, you're welcome to ask that in the business chat, or you can also contact me and say, hey, this is the problem I'm having. Is this something I need to submit a ticket for? And I will let you know. You can also view any of your tickets and correspondence between you and the support staff. So to view your tickets, you just click on that. You'll get all of your tickets there and you can see the back and forth conversation between you and whichever elf you're working with to let you know on what steps need to be taken to fix the issue. And then here is where you book your support call. So if you are taking the free trial, if you have subscribed, if you would like someone to guide you through the system, this is where you book that. please make sure that if you do book that, or if you do subscribe or start a free trial, that you come here and book this appointment so that we can walk you through. It gives you a little bit of training. We make sure that your Shaklee PWS is in there properly. Because even though it tells you to put in your Shaklee ID, that's not actually what we need. We need the code from your website. And rather than you guys try to figure it out, let the elves do it. It's way easier. Okay, so make sure that you book that appointment if you've gotten a free trial recently or have subscribed. And then the last way to get in touch with us is to chat with an elf. So you can go through and select whichever elf you would like to work with. My chat is also in there as well. This is going to connect you to their Facebook Messenger. So that's how it works. You have to be on Facebook Messenger in order for this to work at the moment. And then that way you can also just ask a question. So again, if you're confused about if you should submit a ticket or not, you can message any one of us and we'll let you know whether or not that needs to be a ticket, or if you just have a quick question that's not super urgent, then you can ask it there and we'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. Okay, so to get to the help center, by the way, you can do that by going, oops, I gotta clear that and get rid of this. There we go. You can do that by going to yourfreedomproject.com/support. Again, I highly recommend bookmarking this page to your preferred browser. It's really handy to be able to get to quickly without having to go through the login process. It is bookmarkable, so you're good to go there. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for attending this demo. And I hope you're feeling a little more empowered each time we do this to take your Shaklee business online and utilize some more online tools. And Ariella, I see you have your hand up, so you can go ahead and ask your question and then we'll close it off.
Yeah, I'm still not clear about the part where you hit record and you also want to stream to Facebook. Like, do you have to preset it to a place where you want it to go on Facebook, like in a group?
Yes, you do have to. And that's something that I'm going to cover next week. And then we'll be back here Tuesday where we'll go over that live streaming piece for Zoom as well. So what does that look like? How do you do it? And I'll get some screenshots to make that a little bit easier for y'all. All right. So until then, have a wonderful weekend.